Whether you're fighting monsters in a cave, aliens in a different galaxy, or zombies in the apocalypse, you're going to need a weapon. Sure, your fist could do the trick, but life gets easier when you find or make a weapon. Weapons come in all sorts of forms and vary in power, but there are some weapons that are just so iconic that its mere presence sparks joy or makes you nostalgic for a simpler time in gaming. Yeah, I know I'm old. So today, I want to look over some of the most iconic weapons and discuss what makes a weapon like these so incredible in the first place. A lot of the most famous weapons have a story element to them that automatically makes them unforgettable, like the Master Sword in Ocarina of Time, literally being what allows you to time travel, or the original Keyblade, aka the Kingdom Key in Kingdom Hearts, which upon acquiring, finally allows for you to fight the Heartless. Usually these types of weapons are given to you from the start and aren't the strongest versions of that weapon, but regardless, they are ingrained into your memory. Some weapons come later in the game and are usually key items to progressing, like the Gravity Gun in Half-Life 2 or the Skyhook in BioShock Infinite, that can act as both a tool and a weapon. Another good example is Dead Space. I always loved that the plasma cutter that you start with in Dead Space was a tool, since in the story you're not trained to kill aliens, you're trained to accurately cut minerals. That's what the tool is for. Another great example is the Hidden Blade in the Assassin's Creed series. It's literally what makes you an assassin. Now, some of you in the comments may be like, what about Portal? In that game, you have a portal gun. While it is called a portal gun, it really isn't a weapon. You don't use it to really kill anything. So I don't know if it really belongs in this list. Let's look at a game like Overwatch. Overwatch is in a very strange place because off the top of your head, you probably can't name that many weapons. You can name the characters because the weapons are a part of the character. But there really is one exception. While not having a campaign or really a story mode at all, Overwatch managed to hype up the DOOMFIST Gauntlet in trailers and in maps until ultimately allowing for us to actually use it when DOOMFIST came out.
Oh man, they said he could level a skyscraper.
Titanfall 2's Smart Pistol comes out of nowhere in the campaign, but from a story perspective, after everything you've been through, you needed to just mow down people. I get it. All of these weapons helped either tell a narrative or have a story behind them which allowed them to become so iconic in the first place. But some weapons don't really require a story. Some weapons are just so much stronger than anything else, it's not even close. This sense of extreme power is what makes them icons. Take the Gold Gun from 007. It's an instant kill gun that is so memorable that even Valorant makes an homage to this in Spike Rush. No Call of Duty Zombies game would feel complete without the ray gun. This otherworldly beast of a weapon would make these zombies feel like you're slicing through butter and has been a staple to the zombies genre ever since. Speaking of zombies, a very iconic weapon that is used in zombies is the Monkey Bomb. A bomb that attracts the hordes of zombies towards it and then ultimately explodes. A similar weapon called the Pipe Bomb is used in Left 4 Dead, which is basically the same thing. These grenades feel overpowered, and they're so satisfying for racking up kills. They feel like a necessity at times if you want to survive, which is why they're so memorable.
You know, for your robot, trade you.
Well, okay, Ratchet. I'm kidding. Sorry, he's not for sale. What's a rhino anyway?
There's a gun called the Rhino that has been basically in every single Ratchet & Clank game. And once you acquire this gun, the game is a breeze, which is probably why it costs so much. Another great example is Doom's BFG. It's just so stupid, and we love it. Obviously, weapons being overpowered are more iconic in story-based games, as overpowered weapons in multiplayer games are more infamous than they are popular. And usually after a couple patches and some nerfs, they lose their shine. But sheer power isn't always necessary to become iconic. These next weapons are some of my personal favorites because they're a perfect blend of power, design, and balance that makes them so incredible. What I mean by this is they make you feel like a badass, but they still require skill, and fighting against someone with it doesn't feel impossible because to some extent, they're balanced for the games that they're in. We're talking about weapons like the Energy Sword from Halo or the Kraber in Apex. These weapons can be instant kills, but they have limitations like range or reload times. Weapons that have high risk and high reward come to mind, like the Throwing Axe in Call of Duty. which is very difficult to land, but when landed, feels more like a flex than anything. Counter-Strike's Op comes to mind when you think of a weapon that just feels overpowered. It's so powerful, but at the cost of being very expensive, and you know it's iconic because Valorant literally stole the same exact name and idea. Like, come on, it's still called an Op. Like, no one thinks that's weird? Honestly though, I feel like Halo perfects this feeling with multiple weapons, especially the Spartan laser. Its weakness? It has a super long charge time, but when it lands, it's an unforgettable feeling. Seriously, Halo has so many. You got the grab hammer, you got the needler. I can go on and on. But there's one last category that I think may mean the most to people. Now, obviously, previous weapons I talked about could fit here, but some weapons don't really have an explanation story-wise as to why they're iconic, except that they are the game. I'm talking Fortnite's pickaxe, Minecraft's diamond sword, Gears of War's lancer rifle. They represent their games perfectly. Building, mining, and slicing enemies in half with brutal force are what these games are at their core. There's no real story explanation for them, but it just makes sense. Look at arguably one of the most iconic weapons ever, Cloud's Buster Sword. Why does he have a sword that big? Well, they kind of explain it sorta, but you don't care. It's just amazing. This sword is the best representation of the Final Fantasy series as a whole. It logically makes no sense, but you don't care because it looks so cool. There are too many iconic weapons throughout games, and I'm probably missing so many because I'm only one human being and this video cannot be 10,000 minutes long. Whatever makes these weapons iconic may be different than one another, but a lot of them do have some things in common. They all have a unique look, different than your typical weapon in the same category. They sound unique. Like if I played their sound without the visual, you could tell me what it is. Name that weapon! Go to the comment section right now and comment your answers. The correct answers will be revealed at the end of the video. So don't cheat. Hey, don't do it. And the final thing is, when you use the weapon successfully, it feels amazing. As some of you know, I have a toy Peacekeeper that I got for Christmas from my brothers, and although to some people that aren't fans of Apex Legends, it just looks like a shotgun, fans of the game will immediately recognize it, because that's just it. This is all subjective. If you've never played half the games I mentioned, you probably don't think these weapons are iconic. But the ones that you have played, you think every weapon's iconic. So what's the point of this video? I think I just want to appreciate the hard work that goes into making a uniquely incredible weapon, from the story to the design and to the gameplay. So now close your eyes and visualize your favorite weapon from any game. And you can almost hear it, right? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.